Good morning.
Morning. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, we have Ms. Hernandez, Ms. Gutierrez now. Oh, no, it's Ms. Hernandez now, yes. Okay, Ms. Hernandez, if you can please unmute.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
Anybody that's going to offer testimony, if you could please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay, Ms. Hernandez, we were last here on May 13th. You were ordered to sign up on Parent Portal and monitor the attendance of Francisco. Did Francisco have any unexcused absences since May 13th?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, I'm asking Ms. Hernandez. She was
Oh,
to.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Hernandez? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you have any unexcused absences?
Yes, sir.
How many?
I think we had a couple. I'm not too sure.
Are you're not monitoring his attendance?
Well, he was with me. He was with me and my entire stay at the hospital.
Okay. My question was, are you monitoring his attendance?
Yes, sir.
How are you monitoring it?
I mean, he's been with me and I've been sending him when I can send him.
Okay, so you're not monitoring his attendance. You're not on parent. Are you on Parent Portal?
I have Parent Portal.
Okay, so you're not looking at it each day, determine if he's been.
I mean, he hasn't attended because he's been with me at the hospital. So he hasn't been a couple of days to school because I've had him with me at the hospital.
Why have you had him with you?
Because
Why?
there's nobody to take care of him at home. I can't leave him at home. My husband's out of town.
Okay.
I was admitted in the hospital and I had a couple of procedures done.
When were you admitted in the hospital?
I was admitted, let me see. Let me look at the calendar. Saturday, the 19th, I was released around the 23rd and I was back in the hospital on the 24th. I think those were my dates, yeah.
24th, and when were you released?
I was back in the hospital on today. What was it? I was released on Monday, which is 25th. No, 24th. No, wait. I'm looking at the wrong dates here.
Monday the 24th.
Oh, I was in the hospital right after we had court, which was on the 15th. I had my procedure, and then I went back into the hospital on the 16th. I don't know. I don't have my dates right in front of me. I'd be lying to you if I give you any dates. I would have to get all my discharge paperwork.
Well, then you're gonna have to get that together, because if you're claiming the child's missing school because you're in the hospital, you're gonna have to provide the dates you're in the hospital. We just can't have this I don't know what days I was in the hospital. I don't, he just missed school because I was in the hospital. That's not gonna fly.
Okay, so
Right.
I don't have the dates in front of me.
You don't recall what days you were in the hospital?
I'm looking at the calendar. When did I have my procedure? Oh, well, you know what? I have it here.
Court was on the 13th.
It was Saturday the 15th. I went into the hospital up until the 18th. And I went back into the hospital, what was it, on the 20th? And then I was released on the 24th.
Okay, and so,
I did send him, I sent him, I think it was 2 days. Then we left to the hospital. And then I found a ride for him to go on one of the testing days while I was in the hospital. And I was able to have him go and then come back to stay at the hospital with me.
okay, Ms. Haugen, what days was he in school?
Yes, Your Honor. Court was on 13th. He did report to school that day after court.
The
The day-
14th, he didn't,
Right as soon as you ordered him, that 13th, he came.
okay, did he attend the 14th?
No, sir. He did not come in person the very next day. He logged in remotely in the morning, and then in the afternoon, he didn't even log in.
On the 14th?
Yes, sir.
So he remotely logged in the morning?
Yes, sir, but not in the afternoon. He was unexcused to the last 3 periods on the 14th. Okay, then on the 15th, he was here. On the 18th, was not here all day. Unexcused. We got a phone call on the 18th from mom letting us know that she was in the hospital and he was with her, and that's on the 18th.
Okay.
On the 19th, he logged in to 3 classes remotely, did not log into 1, 2, 3, 5. On the 20th, he logged in remotely to 2, did not log into 6. On the 21st, he was testing. He came in and then he left, and that was a test day. And the 24, 25, 26, nothing. No, not here, not logged in.
4th, 25th, and 26th?
And I believe today, and Claudia, attendance, could you verify this? He is not here today, Ms. Zuniga, is that correct? Can't hear you, hon.
That is correct. He's not here.
He is there. I dropped him off and I just texted him.
Was he late?
I dropped him off at 7:30.
We'll check the classroom right now, but
I
Claudia,
please do, because that's the information. This is something that is going to go ongoing. And that's something that I don't agree to. You're testifying that he's not there, so it's a problem to me because I dropped him off way before he was even tardy, and you're saying he's not in school, so I gotta find out where he's at.
we're gonna check the classroom right now. When we did check, he wasn't there, okay?
I
So
wish
that
you're
means-
concerned, I wish you're concerned from where he was at school, what the dates that he's not there as well.
I know where he's at when he's not in, when he's with me. I have no other person to take care of him.
But you're not concerned that he's not in school?
I'm concerned, but I have no other options. And I did text the teacher and I did tell her. And she told me as long as he was in Schoology, going into his folder, I have the text verbatim from her, there was no problem. So I don't understand why there's so much discommunication from the principal to the teacher that attends to him. I have a text where I texted her that I
Let's
was-
go over his attendance. The 13th report and the 14th, he logged in the morning, but not the afternoon. Why wasn't he logged in the afternoon of the 14th?
Now questions for Ms. Hernandez, correct?
Correct. Ms. Hernandez,
Go ahead.
why wasn't he logged in the afternoon of the 14th?
According to me, he was logged in the computer.
No. What do you mean, according to you?
Well, according to what I saw him do, he was logged into the computer, doing his Schoology or the folder that he does through his email.
The 18th absent. You got a phone call, he's in the hospital. When he's at the hospital with you, why can't he log in?
No, he logs in. I'm there with him. I literally was on morphine. I cannot tell you exactly if I was seeing him verbatimly do the work. I know he had his laptop there because I asked the AOD at the hospital permission to have him there. And he had his laptop and he had his phone.
24th,
I'm not-
25th, 24th, 25th, and 26th, all 3 days, no attendance.
We left the hospital, like I said, on the 24th. He was with me on the 25th and the 26th because of how I wasn't feeling good.
Why wasn't
I
he in
asked-
school?
And because according to the text, he was supposed to be there for testing today.
Why wasn't he on school on the 24th, 25th, and 26th?
I just answered, sir, because I wasn't feeling good.
Okay, well, why does that prevent him from logging on?
Shouldn't have prevented him from logging on. He told
Okay,
me.
so
he
why
had
was it?
that.
You did not confirm, did not check it?
I can see the computer, but I don't understand exactly what he's doing. I don't understand the system they follow. So when he shows me his folder, I am assuming he is doing his work.
That's why you were ordered to enroll in the parent portal, so you could confirm that his absences or his attendance, and you're not doing that either.
And I understand, sir. I understand my health has not been. I've been on really strong medications. I was sleeping half of most of the time. It took me a lot to get up this morning, to be honest.
Okay, what are we gonna do? I mean, I sympathize with your health condition, but can't, negatively affect or it's negatively affecting you. We can't let it negatively affect your son too.
Oh,
No.
I understand. I'm trying to do my very best. I know I shouldn't be putting this burden on my son of my health. To be honest, I understand his place should be at school, and I try very hard. But I wasn't gonna leave him at home, and I have nobody else to take care of him. And this is something that he's been dealing with me, unfortunately, due to my kidney condition for a very long time, not just this past year or past 2 years. This has been since, I've recalled, I've been 9 years old, I've been sick, and I rely on my son so much to help me with all this situation, which I shouldn't, and I have him with me at the hospital thinking he was doing what he was supposed to. I am not gonna say that he was doing it when I saw him open the laptop, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not actually physically see him do work.
Nor did
I'm
you
not-
check the parent portal.
I did not get into the parent portal. I was on really high medications for my pain.
Okay, so, and again, I sympathize with your health condition, but you said this has been going on for 3 or more years. Is that the plan
Yes, sir.
to continue?
What was that? I'm sorry.
You said this has been going on for 3 or more years.
My health, yes.
We can't continue just to have your son bear this burden, can we?
No, sir. No, sir. I understand that it's eventually gonna change more because as we're going, he's gonna assume his own consequences as well. I'm not, but at the moment, not having anybody to be at home and send him to school, it's not been, I've always been very open to school and told him I've had many issues with him. I just cannot leave him at home by himself.
Do
And
you have
I
other
really-
children?
I don't, I have my son, I have a daughter, but my daughter lives with my parents.
So your parents, why can't they assist you?
Well, my parents do live in Fairbanks.
Okay, again, I'll ask, why can't your parents assist you?
It's been conflict. Francisco seems to have conflict with my family and makes it really hard on my mother. My mother can barely walk. So when she has come to the apartment to try to help me with him, he'll refuse to get on the car. He'll refuse to do anything. So I put my parents through much more when they try to help me than when I do it all on my own.
Do you have any siblings?
I do
Why can't they assist you?
because of their work. They have work schedules where they have to attend, and we are not relatively close. Like we don't, deal with each other's problems. We don't. We just do. Everybody does their own.
Where's the father?
In Mexico.
Any suggestions from any administrator or anybody, Mr. Valdez?
Judge, if I can input here,
Sure.
let's start with this. certainly there is nobody that is lacking in sympathy for a genuine medical issue, and I believe a genuine medical issue is happening. That being said, prior to that being the justification for the failures of the child attending school these last 2 weeks, before that it was behavioral, before that it was I don't have any help. The constant stream of, well, this is the reason why, this is the reason why, this is the reason why, that's not enough peanut butter to cover this much bread. The child has to be in school. Everything else has to work around making that happen. That's the one variable that needs to be set. Everything else needs to move around that. Now, I think at this point, Judge, it's been very clear that there's always the two options, right? There's always there's honey, and then there's the stick. The honey is not working. Okay, there's not going to be any compliance over the course of just this 2-week period since the last court setting. Not only did the child not go to school, the child was willfully kept from school. There was no checking on the portal to even verify whether the child was there or not. When asked how many days was the child absent, well, I don't know, a couple. I don't know. I don't have the dates in front of me. So it's a devil may care attitude about the child's attendance at school. At this point, there's nothing further for us to do, in my opinion, than impose the fine. The child's going to continue to be absent. The school should refile again. At this point, it's a matter of stick, no longer carrot.
You're right. I mean, and by the mere fact that you can also see that the school doesn't even know that my son's there. I mean, you guys have to defend your point.
Do not say that I'm right and then attribute to me a comment that I am not making. No, the excuses have been on one side and one side only.
And that's fine. Whatever you all think that should be done, if imposing a fine is going to help the situation, then I understand. I am assuming my consequence. But I am not looking for excuses. I've been a single parent. I've had to work. And unfortunately, I don't have, and I'm not making excuses. I understand the law, but I don't think the law understands a lot of the situations that a lot of students go through. And I've been very vocal to the school about many issues with Francisco all the time. I've called to have the security guard go to the house to pick him up, and they have told me they cannot help me with that. I've called myself. I've called the police department. You can call. I filed reports on him.
Mr. Hernandez, a security guard or a police officer cannot do a parental duty. No, that's not their in their job. That's not in their wheelhouse. That's not something they're authorized to do.
So what do I do when I have somebody saying that it's my attitude, not wanting to send my son in, that I kept him against his will to go to school? What was I supposed to leave? A 15-year-old at home by himself and figure out how to go to school and come back and then leave him to do whatever he's wanted? Ms. Haugen is aware that he's hung around with the wrong people. So what do I do with no options? I mean, I look like a negative person probably, but what do I do?
Well, the first option, we've given you some options which you haven't taken advantage of, and the parent portal to find out when he's absent. Like right now, there's a dispute right now whether he's in school right now. You're saying he's there. Yes, Ms. Hagen, have you confirmed that he's there? Or?
He refused to go to PE. They do change classes. He was not in class. He was marked absent. He said he doesn't do physical activity. Again, it's basically a participation. He can walk if the kids are asked to run. He just needs to be there for attendance. Really, he didn't go to PE.
Okay. So there's the answer as to why he was counted absent. Any other suggestions from any of the administrators?
I know, Judge, that during the ARD we have talked about adding counseling services, so I know they're in the process of working on that for Francisco.
Okay, counseling with who?
With our school social workers.
Okay. Ms. Hernandez, what resolutions do you see, or what things do you see that you can do?
I really feel like my hands are tied because I left him this morning at school on time and he still didn't make it to first period. So it's still my fault. So I don't know if I have to go quit my job to go and make sure that he does what he has to do. I don't know if that's my only option at this time because I know he's doing it intentionally not to be in school.
Well, to be honest with you, Mr. Hernandez, that is an option to order you to attend school with him.
I know, but and then who's gonna pay our bills? How am I gonna feed my other daughter? How am I gonna? I don't know what to do.
Okay, if
I
I
mean,
can,
he's
if I
already
can
told me-
interject for a second, Judge. Mr.
Sure.
Hernandez, the two are not necessarily binary. And what I mean by that is this. What happened today, you can't control that. You took your child to school, the child was there, the child willfully didn't show up to the next period. Those absences, you might not be able to do anything about. But there are plenty of absences that you can do something about. So when we throw up our hands in frustration and say, well, what do? I can't make the kid do X, Y, Z. You might not be able to get the kid to do X, Y, Z, but you can get him to do A, B, C. You're adding to the absences. The more that he's in school, the more likely it is that that will feed itself into him complying on his own. But he can't be skipping out on his own accord, and then also added to that, you having him skip out as well. It can't be both things. So the part that you can do is your part.
I understand, and that's what I'm trying to explain to. I understand what I have to do, but at this time, I don't know if I do good or I do bad. I mean, even if I would have left him home and me at the hospital, he wouldn't have gone to school. And I would have been home. I would have been more mortified at the hospital thinking, what is he doing? He's already left from the house once. He's already gone and hung out with other kids that he's not supposed to. It's just been really hard for me that I make the easiest decisions for us at the moment, which I know are not beneficial to Francisco. I know they're not. I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to for him and his education, but sometimes I'm left with no other resource but to do whatever has to be done in that moment. I know if I have to pay a fine, I understand. I understand their consequences. I'm going to try to make it up as much as I can. I have another procedure coming up. I'm going to try to find somebody to stay at home, make sure he goes to summer school, and see if that works. Somebody that can go and take him from school and bring him back. I'm going to try. Right now, I really don't have a lot of options.
Well, those days that you make the decision, okay, I'm going to take him to the hospital with me, those you got to follow through and make sure that he's attending school remotely. You've got to
I
all
know,
through
I
that
understand.
day.
I understand it. Sometimes it's just hard with me when I'm on morphine or I'm on gabapentin or I'm in excruciating pain or falling asleep half of the day. I understand, and I just feel that I shouldn't be putting that on him because he should be doing other things. But I don't. Sometimes I just can't control the moment. I
Where do you
wheeled
work?
out the procedure, and these past days I was wheeled down a couple of times for CT scan, for surgery, and he was left upstairs in the room. I was thinking he was doing what he was supposed to. To be honest, I was in my five senses, and I mean, it's no excuse, but I mean, I'll try my very best. Like I said, whatever you impose, I'm okay with it. I do want to apologize if you feel I have an attitude. I don't. I'm just really stressed about the situation myself.
Where do
And
you
I
work?
want,
Where do you work?
I work for a freight company called EMS.
How long have you been with them?
Going on 10 years.
Okay, well, you've had the ability to keep the job. I mean, you with all your problems. I mean, so that you are able to overcome some adversity in regard to keeping your job. It's just for some reason we're not able to overcome the adversity in regard to Francisco.
I mean, I'll find my options. find a babysitter, I guess, at this point to walk him to school and wait for him and walk him back. But like I said, I know for a fact, and he's told me that he just doesn't want to be in school. I mean, he'll threaten me and tell me like, I'm gonna leave school. You can drop me off and I'm gonna leave. This morning, it took me so much to get him out of bed to take him to school.
What time is he going to bed?
I had to change our complete. I took his cell phone away. He was down in bed by 10 o'clock arguing with me that it was too early, that he didn't want to go to school. Like, and I was on medications and I fell asleep. He fell asleep in my room because I told him, you're going to go to sleep because I need to make sure you get up in the morning. And so help me God, this morning was just arguing and arguing because he didn't want to go to school.
Does he have a position, a primary position that you take him to?
Yes, he does, Dr. Luis Munoz.
Okay. And he has special needs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any counseling or assistance that the doctor can order that maybe covered through your insurance?
I'm pretty sure I've spoken to Dr. Munoz about the situation, but he's more in agreement with me that Francisco has found a way to manipulate the situation, and he's pretty good at doing it. He tells me plain simple, he just doesn't want to do things. We had him on medication for ADHD, but it did kind of help him. But after reading into some side effects, it kind of scared me that it would affect his liver at certain points. So I just decided to take him off the medication. And the pediatrician was okay with it. He said it's not something that, he really, really needs. But I think that, I have to make an effort to take him back and probably put him back on that medication. The only thing is that medication puts him on a complete different other level.
Is the doctor aware of his situation at school and his education?
I've been very open to Dr. Munoz about, I've had Dr. Munoz has recommended me to UBH. I've taken Francisco to UBH before because of that. And they wanted to keep him there to treat him, but for me it was really hard, and I couldn't leave my son there because I knew that the divorce was what was affecting him. But, I've tried as much as I can to look for help.
Judge, I think that, and obviously we're not in the business of being, child psychologists, but I remember the young man from the last setting as well. There is apparently unaddressed either emotional or perhaps mental health issues with him, combination of the two. Ms. Hernandez, when you said earlier, and I certainly am not intending to suggest a medical course of action, but when you said, I had him on this medication and it was working to address the problem, but then I had this other fear. I guess I would just try and present to you because it sounds like there's a repeated theme that comes up wherein you hit either a real roadblock or an imaginary roadblock, and then you go far left with kind of the worst possible decision of the available choices at the time in order to avoid this one problem. But you exchange one problem for 7 problems instead. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So do you think that maybe, here's what I'm thinking. If you were to address the emotional issue or the mental health issue, or maybe it's a little bit of both with UBH or some other resource like that, then perhaps Francisco's attitude towards school changes. And if his attitude towards school changes, then he's not fighting with you so much anymore. It puts you in a position less frequently to have to make that decision of panic mode. Do I force him to go to school? Do I call the police on him? Or do I keep him out of school altogether? Do you think that might be worth pursuing?
I mean, it's worth a try. I mean, one of the things that I know, and I talked to him about it, and it's something that came up yesterday. plain simple doesn't want to live in El Paso on the west side. He wants to go back to what he had, and it's something that I put some like an emotional strain on him. He just does not want to be here on the west side. He tells me, I want to be back in Fabians with my friends, with everybody where I used to. I mean, it can sound as an excuse, but he continuously tells me that all the time because he's really lonely here. That's what he tells me. But like you said, I mean, I have to do whatever I have to do to address, whether it's emotional, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's just as stressed as I am, and probably the school is the same way, stressed with both of us, because we just can't find a medium between both of us, like how to make it work,
Right.
you know? And it's embarrassing to me to have to take your all's time to try to figure out how to get my son to school and get him motivated to do what he's supposed to do.
But that's why this process is here. So that's not you taking up our time. That's the gig that we're here to do.
I mean, I'll put him. I mean, I'll put him back on I'll take him back, put him on the medication, see how he does with that, and hopefully he'll make a change.
It's not working right now. So we've got to try some other alternatives. And if UBH is an option, I think you have to explore it. You owe that to him. You may not like the fact that you may have to leave him there, but you're going to have to do what's best for him, however hard it is. And at least give it a try.
I mean, now that the school, after the ARD, that the school has offered to increase his counseling time, I asked him to be very open to it, because I know UBH, the psychologists are told me as well, it could either hurt us or affect us. And I wouldn't like to leave my son. I would like to find help for him, yes, but it would be very hard for me to just go and leave him there. Knowing that the situation at the time was the divorce and him trying to suicide, and it was just a whole ordeal for us at the time. I don't know if he's still carrying a little bit of the anger. He's unmotivated to go to school. He just tells me he doesn't want to go to school. He tells me he's going to be a truck driver. That's what he's going to do.
When was the divorce?
What was that?
When was the divorce?
We finalized the divorce in 2018.
So this has been 2 or 3 years since.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's got to get past. There's been sufficient time to get past that.
yeah.
And we've got to move on. I'm going to order that he get evaluated by his doctor.
Okay. That's fine. Dr. Munoz.
Yes, and we're going to start with that, and we've got to get on a better course. We're having more attendance at school, either remotely or in person, and it's got to be consistent. And another concern of mine is that you're letting him make the decisions, or let him make the direction of which way you're going, and it might result in less conflict right now, but it's not helping him. There's going to be some tough decisions that are going to have to be made, and you're going to have to follow through, which is going to be hard to do. But in the long run, it's going to be beneficial to him.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to have to come to terms. So the first step is getting him evaluated with his doctor, and then he's to attend school. I mean, if you're going to keep him out from attending in person, you're taking the responsibility of making sure that he's attending remotely each and every period. That's not just setting him up on the computer and then watching him and then I'm good. Now that's going back and checking in each and every hour that he's attending school, each and every class. And the easiest one is the parent portal. So when we first started talking, it was apparent to me that you weren't monitoring him on the parent portal, which is an easy way to find out if these absences are occurring, or if he's, when you take him, if he is attending or not. And that's something you can address that day. So if you're not doing those little things, you know, these, it's like Mr. Valdez says, you're adding to the problem. And we can't, we can take these little, chip away at it. And The things we can't change, well, we'll deal with those, but the things we can change, we need to do.
Understood.
Okay, so I'm going to require to be evaluated with Dr. Munoz. Juanita, is
Yes, sir.
about 2 weeks off, is that sufficient time? Can you see Dr. Munoz between now and 2 weeks, or Mr. Hernandez?
I'm pretty sure I can get him like a walk-in appointment. Hopefully, what's today? There's by no later than Wednesday of next week. Hopefully.
It's 2 weeks out. I think does that work with the school? I don't know. Juanita, something about 2 weeks out?
Okay, June 10th at 10:15.
Does that work with the school schedule?
Yes, sir. That'll work.
June 10th, 2021 at 10:15?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it should be required to evaluate with Dr. Munoz to be continued to attend school. Any other suggestions?
Your Honor, is he ordered to attend in person or either? I just need some clarification.
What are,
The reason I ask is it's very difficult to implement his IEP or his plan with SPED and his counseling time when he's here 1 day out of 10 days, you know? It's hard for us to really help him and give him counseling services and things like that if he's not here. So I just want some clarification if it's going to be in person or remote.
I'm inclined to order it in person, and Mrs. Hernandez, you're going to have to make arrangements to have him there.
Okay.
Okay, so we're required to attend school in person. And Mrs. Hernandez, I'm gonna you're gonna have to monitor him on Parent Portal each and every day. You're gonna have to be a diligent effort to monitor his attendance, his progress, his communications with the teachers through Parent Portal. So when we come back, you're gonna have to know that if he missed a day, and I hope he hasn't missed a day, but you're gonna have to know the day, you know, how many periods, is it afternoon, morning? I expect you to know. I'm not gonna rely on the school to give me that information. That's something you should have readily available.
Understood.
Okay.
And I have a quick question
Yes.
regarding the situation that happened this morning, and I wanna address that and
Okay.
just have an understanding. As he didn't want to go, what does that mean? He gets choices, or does he walk in and he doesn't anybody see him, or did he get like some sort of like attention called for? Like, just
What
seems
I
so hard for me.
What I understand is with his teacher, when he reported to Ms. Montero, he told her that he couldn't do any physical type of activities and he was going to stay in the class. And of course, PE started, coach marked him absent. That's as far as I know. I was not called to go talk to him, but I do have a note to speak to both of the SPED teachers to see that we're communicating. And if somebody needs to go and have a conversation with him, we'll do that.
Oh my God.
When he leaves the class, does he go somewhere? Talking, or do we?
I believe he sat in Ms. Montero's class the entire PE period. He just sat there.
He's in a self-contained environment for most of the day, except for his elective periods, which he then goes out with para to the PE with some of the other students to PE in their electives.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, well, I wish you good luck and just diligence. You have to be diligent about it and monitor them each and every day. and I know it's difficult, and I know it's particularly difficult with your situation, but it's something that we have to do.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you all. I'm going to end it
Thank you.
here unless there's something else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.